Right, now to make this beautiful pumpkin, we need some yarn, we need a hook, we need some stuffing, and we need some scissors. Now I'm using Bramble DK pumpkin and I'm making pumpkins. The minis, we need to do a slip knot, and then we need to chain 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we need to do a half double all the way along, so there should be 10 when you get to the end of this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then what you need to do is chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work, and you are going to do half doubles into the back loop. So we're not going through both, we won't go through here, we are just going to go through the back loop. So just there, 1 half double all the way along again, so just 10 through the back loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn, and again you are going to do 10 half doubles in the back loop all the way along. So 1, 2. Now this is our 3rd row, and what we need is 12 rows. Okay, so I will meet you when I am on row 12, but it's just a half double in all the back loops, chain 1, turn, half double in all the back loops, chain 1, turn, until you get to row 12, and then I will meet you there. So here we are, I've just done 11 rows, so I'm on my 12th, so I've chained 1, and we're going to do a half double all the way along. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the pesky hidden one, 10. There we go. Now what I'm going to do here is actually fasten off, but I'm going to leave quite a long tail because we need to do a mattress stitch to these 2 edges together. So we need a little bit, and then we're going to drawstring the top with it as well. So just give yourself a little bit of yarn. That's probably too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Okay, and then fasten off, pull that through, then get your darning needle, and you are going to put these edges together. I prefer it when the long bit is at the bottom like this, but you might prefer it different, and that's absolutely fine. You just find the right way for you. Then we need to thread your needle. If you know how to mattress stitch, you'll be a dab hand at this. I'm not the best at stitches, so we'll just see how it goes. But we're going to go under but through the stitch, and then on the other side we're going to do the same, under but through, and you just go backwards and forwards, going under but through, under but through, under but through. There we go, and just keep going backwards and forwards, and this is going to stitch your 2 edges together. I have gone a bit long on this yarn, but that's fine. I'd rather have too much than not enough. And go all the way up to the top. at the top, make sure you go through the very top, just like that. Now you're at the top, you'll see that that is stitched together and that is all good. But what we need to do now is, you'll see you have some like quite loose stitches. If you put your needle under and through, so under and go back through this one here, and then go back out of this one. Doesn't really matter which ones you go through, as long as they're not too tight, because if they're not too tight, you're not going to be able to pull the bottom of your pumpkin tight. And you'll see what I mean in a mo. Go back out, through, and back out, and through. There we go. And then what you do here now is you can pull this one and it will pull your whole, it will pull the opening closed basically, like that. So then what I do is, with this one from the starting chain, I tie them together. I make sure that hole is as closed as possible. I tie these two together just like that, keeping it as tight as possible but without obviously breaking the yarn. And then get my darning needle, make sure these two are the same length. Get my darning needle and I just poke these back in here. You can cut them off, doesn't really matter. Then what we're going to do next is we're going to stuff the pumpkin, but we're not going to overstuff it, because if you overstuff it, it doesn't get the proper pumpkin shape, if you know what I mean. So just pop it in there, but like I say, don't overstuff it. I know normally we say stuff it until it's firm, but actually for these we don't want it to be too firm. We do want a bit more than that. I think this will probably do it for my little pumpkin. Yeah, I'm not going to put any more in there than that. Right, so that's that stuffed. And then we're just going to pop that to the side for a second. You're going to cut off an extra length. It doesn't have to be too long. And we are going to drawstring. So like we did on the other end with our end where we went in and out and in and out, we're going to do the same on this end. Okay. So you can start anywhere you like. You go in. Well, actually, that was out. In, out, in. Oops. The stuffing does get a little bit in the way here, but just try and ignore it. I suppose you could stuff it once this is in, but it's just the way I do it. Go on, stuffing, don't be sausage. I love this. I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I do like autumn, and I think this is a great little autumnal decoration. But if you do Halloween, it'd be quite cute too. Maybe you could put some faces on them or some eyes. This is such a quick project as well. Right, so now we're back at the start. So what we're going to do is we're going to stuff that in there, and we're going to pull both of these tight, and we're just going to pull the opening closed, so like a drawstring. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot in this. Try and get it as tight as you can without obviously breaking the thread, the yarn, sorry. There we go. And what we're going to do is, again, we're going to cut the ends so they're the same length. Then we are going to get our darning needle and we're going to pop it in there, and we're just going to pull the yarn through. It doesn't have to be tight, it just has to get out of the top. Then we can cut this yarn off here, And then here's the next part. So the next part is the stalk. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a slip stitch. We are going to chain 5. You want this bit to be fairly long. It needs to be able to go through the pumpkin, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to single crochet 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then what we're going to do is fasten off. So give yourself a little bit of length. Doesn't have to be too much. Fasten off. Now I tie these 2 bits together. You don't have to, but it's what I do. And then I thread this end on here. I always do the short end first. I don't really know why, but I do. This is going to be the top of mine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come closer. I'm going to do this end through here, okay? And I'm going to take it straight through to the bottom, like that. Just give it a tug so it sits in there nicely. But what I don't want this thread to go through the same hole in the top as that one has gone through. So I am going to go through the middle bit because that's obviously very different. And I don't want the thread to come out of the same hole. So as you can see, there is thread in between, so I'm going to pull it out there. And then what that does is when you tug this, it gives it more of a pumpkin shape. So what we're going to do is, as tight as we can, again without breaking the yarn, we are going to tie a knot. So just as tight as you can without it breaking. And then you have your beautiful pumpkin shape look. And we are going to cut these ends so that they're the same length. Pop both ends through the darning needle, and then we are going to just get rid of that end. And you can just put it straight out of the top and cut the ends off. Really doesn't matter, but we just don't want those ends at the bottom. And that is the mini pumpkin. So I have made 18 for my bunting. And I will show you how to make the bigger ones next.